No, your hair looks good.
Brilliant.
It looks
Okay,
actually a lot better than mine.
Great,
No, I like it. I'm on board.
Welcome back to Children's TV.
We do not far, not far off.
I'm trying to do a video over it, mate. So
Elliot
Elliot
can keep talking. Elliot's fine.
Fine. Bad news, guys. Liverpool are still making the Champions League, but we're going to be cutting it tight. It's like, they've got the plane ticket, but they've lost their passport.
Do you believe that? Do you honestly think you're going to make it?
I don't know. What are you asking me for?
This team. You're here for your insight, Loz. I kind of got to ask you.
Mm-hmm. No, go for it. No, seriously.
Can you make
okay, let's do this, right? Ask as many excruciatingly uncomfortable questions about Liverpool as possible. Because I'm bored of videos where people go, excuses or this or that. Let's have like a frank and honest conversation about Liverpool.
Okay, I have one question that is going to be fairly uncomfortable.
Go for it.
It revolves around Thiago Alcantara.
Right, okay.
I'm not questioning his ability.
Absolutely. But you question where he fits into the system.
I think it's... Is it fair to say that it's been atrocious?
No, I don't think that's fair because I think that's hyperbolic. But I do think that he's... I do think that he's not... I do think the systems, first of all, is not built around him. I think Liverpool got him as almost like a luxury add-in that they almost saw it as, well, this season at least, you've got your points in the team where you go, Virgil van Dijk will always be there, Henderson will always be there, Firmino will always have his position. What can we do around that? Okay, well, maybe we need someone who can change the pace a bit more because Henderson's not always been great at that. Bringing Thiago, maybe Fabinho's holding. You've not got that balance in the midfield and you've not got that balance in defence.
Defensively, though, he has been so poor, particularly today. Two of the goals?
As in you think his positioning or that, and that's why I'm partly talking about the system. But I see what you're saying. I mean, he's got to be smarter than that. I think Liverpool did bring him when he first came in. Even all the commentary was he's really smart, bosses games.
Exactly, yeah.
He didn't do that, but the system has to be built for that. And I do think that's partly that people aren't really able to step down from what their analysis initially was. A lot of people didn't watch him enough in Bundesliga. Like, I think all of us...
People saw the Champions League games where he dictated, didn't they?
Sure, which I'm partly guilty of, because I enjoyed watching a lot of Dortmund or a couple of other teams. But at the same time, I think, he had this demeanour when he entered the club. And I've got to admit, I noticed differences when they played Everton and the way he changed that. But that was when Liverpool were all right, they were confident. So... I do think there is a difference, but I do think people sometimes have to go back and look at their analysis and go, was I really right about that? Or is it that he's bad, or is it that he doesn't fit into the part of the system he's being asked to play?
Do you know what? Sometimes people do that. They learn something.
And then they can't let that go, and they'll make everything fit around that, instead of going, well, I should just get rid of the central thing.
Yeah, they learn that he is a brilliant midfielder, and that is kind of given, and then they never analyse anything beyond that.
Right.
And it's got to the stage now where I kind of feel comfortable, but it doesn't sit right should Thiago, despite his brilliance...
He didn't start today, by the way.
Should he play? Should he be in the Liverpool
Well, he
side?
didn't start today. He was a substitute for Milner, so Milner did start the game.
Right.
So I think technically Klopp is going, well... I mean, it's also a ridiculous thing for someone like me to say a professional like Thiago might not quite cut the mustard. It seems a little bit patronising on my part. But the analysis from the outside is...
Right. No, but I don't
But
mean
the reason I say
right
that is I think at the moment there's real issues that people focus on one part of the team and they go, the defence is the problem. So they go, why aren't they attacking? Well, it's like, well, if the defence doesn't work, then the attack won't work because they've not got anywhere to build from.
Yeah.
If the defence isn't solid, then the midfielders need to drop back further so they can't offer as much support. And I think that was quite clear to me, like the system is not working right now. So really, instead of questioning the players, I do think there should be questioning over the coaching. I do think there should be questions over Klopp and how adaptable he is, because I don't think he's built a very adaptable side in the way that they need to be now. And I do wonder if there's an element of burnout. That's not an excuse. That is just a fact. Liverpool they've played a fairly consistent starting 11. That front three have started a lot of games. I think Van Dijk had started every game up until that point, pretty much every game but one or something like that. So there was a lot of players in there who are going to be suffering from burnout. But that's not an excuse. That's Liverpool's fault. You should be rotating
it's just
more.
The reason.
You should be able to go, well, who can we switch in out here? If we're playing a certain side, do we really need to play Van Dijk? Do we really need to play these guys? And you could kind of see that they were trying to do that. But I get it. Like, you have to work up chemistry. You have to have players want to play games as well. You can't go around going, well, no, we can't have you playing this one because you've got Salah chasing a golden boot. You've got Mane. But the fact is also this is not the middle of a life cycle. I do think this is the end of the team life cycle. That's partly the explanation for it.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Okay, do you know, you mentioned uncomfortable questions.
Yeah, go for it.
That was one.
Right, brilliant.
I have another one.
Question two.
I actually have two more uncomfortable questions.
I'd love to hear them, because they're making me uncomfortable.
The next one is Alisson. Should Alisson...
Don't.
It's uncomfortable. But
It's uncomfortable because it is a silly question to ask.
What about this logic though?
If you watch the full game today, there are a number of times where Alisson is off his line, where he's in their face, where he does everything he should do as a goalkeeper. I think it was Vardy, it might have been Barnes, tried to put it through his legs, he's got quick feet, all these different aspects. And then if you've got Vardy through one-on-one with you, I'd probably back Vardy quite a lot.
Yeah, man,
but if there's any goalkeeper I could pick, I'd go Alisson.
Okay, I don't mean it in terms of ability with Alisson, but the question that I'm asking is, should he play? Not because of his ability, because I agree with you, that is unquestioned.
Yeah.
But his head's not right. Yeah, it's not.
You see, even then, I'm like, well, today the Kabak problem was caused because either a shout didn't go up or someone didn't hear that shout. You can not really say that in a full stadium. So it's a strange one.
So is there a world in which it would make sense to drop Alisson, not because of his ability,
I see what you're saying,
but because he might need, his head's not in the right place. You can't play him again next week. If it happens again, are you potentially going to ruin a goalkeeper?
I don't know if they're going to ruin a goalkeeper, because I think you always have to encourage a goalkeeper to do what you want them to do, and some of those things will be high risk because they're the last line of defence. So naturally, I think you've got to be able to manage that risk. And that's where they say goalkeepers have got to be crazy, because they've got to be able to forget things quick, or they've got to be able to justify something that maybe is unjustifiable. He'll have made worse mistakes. He will have made worse mistakes than this during his career before this, I think. And I think even when he started at Liverpool, first game, he made a terrible mistake against Leicester.
Yeah, it was against Leicester.
Where he tried to go back and someone tackled him. I think he got away with that one, though. These ones have been punished. All three of these mistakes have been badly punished. Yeah. But let's be honest here. You can't blame Alisson for these results.
But what's that? That's 7 goals conceded in 2 games. That's not Alisson, is it?
No, exactly. That's a defensive problem there.
Yeah.
And that's Kabak has got to get his feet under the table. The guy we signed from Preston injured. Fabinho injured. There is an injury problem there. But I get it. Like, the answer is, well, you can't just stop the games.
Yeah.
But let's put it this way. Klopp wouldn't be the first manager to say stop the games if that was the case.
No. Okay, do you know what? We mentioned uncomfortable questions. I've actually got a third.
Why do your hair look like that? We don't know.
This is my third one.
Yeah.
The Merseyside derby.
Oh, God, this is so uncomfortable.
I have never, ever felt like Liverpool were in threat. The only time, right, something happened fairly recently, is when Liverpool put out their children against...
Villa?
Against Everton.
Oh, yeah. God,
against that was Everton. I think Curtis Jones scored a blinder.
Yeah, great. Oh, yeah, that was Curtis in the League Cup, I think.
Right. In that game, that was a day when I said, Everton are never going to beat Liverpool ever again. It's never, ever going to happen. Because they put out the kids... There were 5,000 Evertonian fans. No, I honestly didn't. That wasn't hyperbolic. It sounded but it was genuine, because I thought that was the time where Everton were going to win. Everton played their first team. Liverpool didn't really care about the fixture, and Liverpool still won.
Okay, I understand.
Is this now? Is this the most nervous you've been?
Oh no! I've been much more nervous. I mean, the fact is, for Liverpool now, there's very little, or what feels like very little on the line in terms of the title. So the nerves are different, and I don't think it's quite sunk into the fan base yet that top 4 might be a struggle at this point. So
but
it is.
The record at
do you know the
Anfield
period
is
Liverpool?
in threat.
Well, the record's already gone
against Everton.
Oh right, sorry.
Yeah,
okay.
Sorry.
I guess the way I think of it is, at the moment, I think the fans feel a bit numb to it, because they're still thinking, well, we were champions last year. We're still high up in the table at this point. So you're sort of almost a bit disoriented at this point. You've got a lot of people around you going, well, it's this, it's that. You need to think this. You're all losers. I don't know if that really checks out the Liverpool fans at the moment, because they're going, well, look at the team, they're still good. I look at this side and I think there's a lot of misplaced passes, there are a lot of silly decisions being made, and I can't quite understand that. And that for me rests on the coaching staff.
Do you feel like the players?
I said it earlier on in the season.
Next week, is it going to be business as usual against Everton?
I think Liverpool are waiting for that turning game, and Everton will be the perfect game to turn it in. So there are a lot of opportunities, put it that way, if you want to skew it that. Yeah. But like Klopp said, I think it's easy to be a believer when things are going well. When stuff is not going well, it's hard to believe. And I do think in the early years, when Klopp was making a few decisions and the subs weren't quite going right, people were going, has he still got it? Is he actually the manager? And I know it's been a tough week for him. I felt very sorry for that. If you're not compassionate towards Klopp in a week when he's lost his mother, then I think that's you've got something wrong with you at that point. But to completely take that out of the picture, that's been going on for a while now, the coaching problems, the sub problems, the changes that have been made. So I do think there is a wider issue. But at the same time, put it this way, if Liverpool fans don't have faith in Klopp or the people behind the scenes, then they're not looking at the evidence of the previous 48 months or 36
absolutely.
months or whatever. So I get it. There are reasons not to trust what's going on. There are reasons to go, God, that's terrible, that's terrible. But also to write off everything before that, I think would be a real issue.
And also Leicester are good, aren't they? Indeed, he was brilliant.
Leicester are great.
Ashley Barnes, Jamie Vardy, they're good, aren't
I get it. Yeah. But at the same time, to not treat these symptoms of a real problem seriously, especially within the fan base, would be a blind spot, I think. You could regard that as a serious mistake. And it's a real problem because I know Liverpool are not saying the phrase, we're too good to go down. But I don't want to hear anyone sort of going, well, we're too good not to finish in the top 4. So we don't know. I think the thing with Liverpool is there's a lot of opportunities to turn negatives into positives. Klopp's exceptional at that. And, the same with Michael Edwards where he goes, well, we signed Jota. We didn't think he was going to be as good as he was. Yeah. Or we didn't think whoever was going to be as good as they were. So whilst there are all these symptoms, the treatments in the past from Liverpool have been very good.
Yeah. And you can back them to put it right because of what the history would teach us.
At the moment, I don't think you have a choice because I think you would look silly to go, well, let's turn on Klopp now. That's just ridiculous. Or to turn on FSG now or any of these things. Because if you hadn't done that before, you just weren't paying attention.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's actually a case of, you can't just draw attention to it and go, well, we're losing now, so get rid of him now. Yeah. That's not support. Surely that's the definition of being a supporter.
Now's the time to
exactly. Back your team, get behind them. If you're an actual supporter.
And there isn't a better man in the world to put this right than Jurgen Klopp.
I agree. And Jurgen, if you need me to come and give a speech or you need me to come and give a talk beforehand, I know some great people because I'm not the man.
Thank you. Do you know what? We're going to have to go. Mr. McKenna, thank you
for
joining us. We're going to the kickoff now. We're at the kickoff. We're about to start recording now.
Come on.
Tune in.